Good morning. We're talking about old versus young this morning. Fresh faces versus grey hair. What works better in real estate? Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning, ladies.
I'm not sure I like to be called the old agent, but I like how you went about asking how I would like to be labelled, and I've just copped it, sweet Billy.
So I put my label as young agent, and then I asked Lisa, what would you like to be called?
And I said, I think this is a very nice way of asking me if I'd like to be called the old agent. So old in years, is this what we're talking about, or old in experience?
Oh, look, I won't digest into it. I'm gonna say trouble. Yeah.
So this is an interesting one, Billy, because you came into real estate at what age?
At 15, 16 years old.
Wow, that's incredible. Still at school. We're going to dive into that a little bit more shortly. And I actually came into real estate sales when I was 46. I'm now 53, and I don't know about being old, but coming in as a more mature age person is, look, it definitely comes with its pros and cons, that's for sure. So, Billy, 15 when you came into real estate, not just into real estate, but working at Novak. How old are you now?
Yeah, 22, about to turn 23. So I've done my Novak boot camp, as I like to call it. The first 3 years was a lot of groundwork, a lot of training, a lot of upskilling from the team to me, like a sponge absorbing all the knowledge. So it was 2 years of reception. It was a year and a bit of property management, and then Lisa's assistant for a short while before going out on my own.
That's it. So when did you actually, when you say before going out on your own, you mean going into the world of actually listing and selling real estate as a standalone agent? Okay.
Yeah.
And at what age was that?
22 years ago.
Okay. I want to ask you just out straight, did you struggle 2 years ago listing property because of your age?
I think age always came up in conversation. The hardest of the listing presentations were the ones where you didn't have the runs on the board, and it's just a confidence thing, and that can slowly change regardless of age. But certainly I think it was tough, and ultimately you've got enough competition as it is. If you take age out of the equation, there's 580 real estate agents servicing the Northern Beaches. So it's not like a market where there's limited competition to begin with. So you need to, as an agent, put all the odds in your corner from the start. Doesn't matter how you do it.
Yeah.
But age is one of those things that used to come up before having runs on the board.
And no doubt, but like, here's the thing, you'd already had, before you launched into actually becoming a listing and selling agent, you had 5 years experience by the age of 20. 5. That's incredible.
Yeah, and coming out of Lisa's, team, we were the number one at the time. And I think still are, Lisa, although I don't know if the results have come out for this year yet, the number one selling team on the Northern Beaches as a team. So we're very used to transacting a high volume of real estate. So all the experience was there, all the knowledge was there, but you come out of that environment where you're very used to a team environment, and then you're out on your own, and it's very different.
It's very daunting. And I remember, Billy, when you went and became what we call a standalone agent, guys, it's when you're not working within a team. Billy was like my co-pilot, if you like. And then, all of a sudden he's out on his own, and he's 20, and he's like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize. I remember you saying to me, Billy, in your first year when you were a standalone agent, saying, this is really, really hard. And we were like, you just keep going. You've got everything that you need. You've had 5 years of experience. You've got everything you need. And I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, but I think a lot of it is the confidence. Because, there's been many, many people that have been really young that have made enormous successes out of their lives. I mean, Mark's one of them. Mark started our agency when he was 23. How old are you now, Billy?
Yeah, turning 23 next month. So it's amazing. There's
That's
a
right.
lot of
Started the business at 23.
amazing. Yeah.
So, it is definitely a confidence thing, that's for sure, because you had the years of experience behind you. But I would assume that the hardest thing would be sitting in front of a vendor, you're young and fresh faced, and then an older agent with a lot of experience comes in. And, that can be nerve wracking, I think, if you're young and, somewhat starting out as a sales agent. But here's the thing. You've got the hunger and you've got the energy, and you're going to do whatever it takes to get that result for that vendor. Is that right or is that wrong?
Well, that's it. And there's lots of spin-offs you've got the benefit to when you're that bit younger, whether it be the freedom to not have kids and the other responsibilities, business to look after. So you've got the time to devote yourself to a campaign, which is what an owner really wants. They never want to feel like they're a part of many moving objects, or they never want to feel like they're second best. So you've got lots of things you can do there. But you're right, coming up against more experienced agents is something you've got to get used to pretty quickly.
You've got to get used to it. And I think you've just got to own that. But it is definitely a confidence thing. I mean, I'm always saying to our two girls, being self-confident is the most beautiful thing, certainly a woman can be, but anyone can be. That's the truth, right? You've just got to own it. And then I came into the industry as a sales agent. I stepped into the sales role at the grand old age of 46. And,
Yeah.
the lovely thing about that is that you do have that confidence. I'd already had many, many years of experience behind me. I had worked in a sales capacity in my parents' business. We ran a very large college. We were in private education, and I was working in sales there for many years. But I hadn't done real estate sales before, although I was working in the background of our business. But one thing that I had was I did have age behind me. And that's a massive thing. Like, a lot of people were often surprised when I would tell them I'd only been in real estate sales for 1 or 2 years, because I think when you're older, people naturally assume you've been doing this your whole life. But that confidence factor was there. And I remember coming into real estate sales and people would say to me, "Oh, you can't work in that area because blah, blah owns that patch." And I was like, No. What do you mean owns the patch? No one owns any areas. And that
Yeah.
was always a big thing for me. I was like, well, you watch me. I had this real drive and confidence about me. And I think that was probably a big part of why I cut it in the industry quite quickly, was because I had my age probably somewhat against me, because I was like, I've got to do this now while I'm still young enough and I've got enough energy to be able to do so. So, at the end of a long Saturday, like last Saturday, we had a massive run, and I was knackered. There's no chance I'm going out. You probably went out and partied on Saturday night.
Oh, look, I feel like the grey hairs are creeping in quickly. Next time we cover this topic, I'll be certainly feeling like an old agent. Yeah,
But,
they're big days though. They're consuming.
they are massive days. I mean, look, we finished up last night I think I walked out of the office at 9. I was home by whatever it was, 9:30 or whatever. And then you're up again early this morning to get up and do breakfast at Novak. So look, you definitely do need the energy, that's for sure. I would say to anyone who's watching, and I know we're in HSC territory now, we've got a lot of guys and girls that are starting to wrap up the school year. Actually, let me put this to you, Billy. What would you say to the guys and girls that are doing HSC, finishing up school and looking to maybe get into real estate?
Well, even if you're just slightly unsure on what you want to do, this is an industry where it's got no barriers to entry on age. There are a lot of industries that are, they need degrees, or you need to just sort of meet a certain age criteria before you can even get started. This is not one of them. And it is fantastic groundwork to give you just that life experience you need. it's just the best. It's just the best starting point. So if you're unsure on what you want to do, consider it like an apprenticeship, and that's really what it is. It would give you really good foundations to then, you know, build a fantastic career in a part of the industry that you're interested in, because there's so many different facets. It's not just sales. We're talking about property management, accounts.
That's right.
You know, the marketing side of things. There's so many different things you could be doing.
Yeah. And, you know, coming into something like property management is a great segue in. Most of you guys, I know certainly most of my guys and girls that have worked alongside me have used that as a segue into property management. It's a wonderful training ground. You're learning so many things. And then, you know, transitioning over into sales, we've got 2 guys, watch this space, that are actually coming over over the next couple of weeks from property management. And they've been working in there for a couple of years, but it's a great segue. And as you said, I think that's the big critical thing, Billy. There is no age barrier here. You can come in at 15, or you can, you know, you can be working in this industry when you're 75. A couple of the guys in our office are in their mid to late 70s. So, you know, no one's ever saying you're too young or you're too old. You know, we all bring so many different things to the table. You guys have got endless, boundless amounts of energy. And, you know, and then as you get older, you've got that confidence factor. So, you know, but, you know, there is no age that is too young. Look at young Charlie. We've got a 12-year-old guy comes in to do work experience, such a legend. And as I said, you know, we've got a couple of guys in our office that are in their mid to late 70s. So there you go, guys. It's a great career for all ages. It really is.
And 43 is the average age, if you're curious. What's good, what's normal. 43 is the average, but surprisingly, 88%, this is not just Australia related, but sort of industry, they've taken this across the board. 88% of agents leave the industry within their first 5 years. So I think you can find an area of the business that you really like. And look, that's the average. There's a lot more that go way beyond that. But yeah, you can find an area of the business you love.
Well, that's exactly right. And there are so many different facets. Like you look at our business model alone, you know, you've got standalone agents like yourself and myself. You've got sales associates that work alongside an agent. You've got admin. You've got property management. You've got leasing. You've got admin. You've got media. You know, we've got a whole media department there for the creative guys and girls. There's so many at reception. Look at Charlie, who runs our reception area. Many of you guys will have seen her as well on our socials. So many different areas. So there you go, guys. You know, if you ever need any advice, yes, we do lots and lots of work experience as well. The door's always open to the work experience guys and girls. But there you go. Never too young, never too old. By the way, I don't consider myself old at all.
Well, at least the hair's looking more blonde than ever. No greys there.
I do say that to my hairdresser. I'm like, if you find any, don't tell me. Literally, don't tell me. There you go. All right, Billy, have an awesome day. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Have a good one.
See ya.